It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Welcome back. Thank you so much for rejoining the conversation. Yes, we've got an overarching health focus being a Tuesday, but let's hone in on nutrition right now. And when buying groceries, do you look out for the heart mark logo to help you choose healthier options? Well, for Farmer Brown's Nourish range, this seal of endorsement was essential in offering customers a healthy lifestyle option. And Professor Pamela Naidu, CEO of the Heart and Stroke Foundation, joins us to chat a bit more about this very important seal of approval, if you will, and the simple steps to eating healthy. Prof, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
We take this as a success, yes? Whenever we can influence the marketing message flow backwards, where they match, where there's authenticity, when they're forced to go through all of those hoops to get to this point, how important is this for a major product to get this stamp of approval?
Yes. No, that's an excellent question. So I think many people assume that you can simply buy the logo.
I was going to say,
yes. When it's actually not like that at all. So it's quite a scientific process. The baseline of the sort of scientific determination, if you like, is what we call a nutrition profile model.
Okay.
And so companies who believe they've developed a healthy food product would apply for the Heartmark logo. And our dietitians, who are very experienced, will use scientific criteria to determine whether it is, in fact, a healthy food product. But over and above that, it's not just by way of believing what you say on paper. We do also expect you to send your product to a lab that's authorized, independent body, and then it comes back, obviously, with the profile. And so the key ingredients, you know, we won't talk too much about the micro ingredients as such, but sugar, salt, and fats is the key determination, yeah. So it's got to be within limits.
And I mean, I can joke about it now, but that is under the spectre of the ill health that follows those three things that you have mentioned, the human condition at the moment when we look at the pressure that puts on us. Why is it so important to have these nutritional building blocks in our everyday diet? Why is this logo so important?
No, absolutely. So essentially, I think if you look at the way people live without any form of control, if you like, you're going to actually burden the healthcare system. Because all these ingredients are the perfect ingredients for bad health, for poor health. So if you're able to buy a healthy food product, and one example is to buy a Heartmark branded product, then you know that it can form part of your diet. So nobody's asking you also to overdose on the product.
Yeah.
It just forms, it's part of your portion.
It's one of the building blocks.
Yeah, exactly. Along with plant-based foods and salads and natural grains and so on.
It speaks to the journey that they would have had to have gone on from a Farmer Brown's perspective, and especially a brand that's been around there from an era where this wasn't front and center. To have to make those changes is wonderful, and to offer kind of ranges within that and different health benefits. They've honed in on three particular variants here that offer different health benefits. We've got the parsley, quinoa, fiber, wheat, ingredients that do inform. And again, that speaks to finding that balance and finding the right kind of nutrients, especially in a meal that's going to be eaten almost daily. This is one of those staples.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a great one to pick on, because we actually, a few years ago, we stopped endorsing refined grains. So all the grains you've mentioned are perfectly acceptable in terms of overall good diet, you know. It's unrefined grains, so even white rice and so on is not something we endorse any longer.
And thank you for doing that, because I would imagine you do play with one foot in the marketing space, and you've got to be realistic about that and about where people economically are. We know that most choices ultimately are a socioeconomic choice more than a health or nutrition-based choice, in this notion that all foods can be super if we get the nutrients out of them. What are your tips, maybe a life hack, something that you've approached your lifestyle, seeing this has become one of your main goals in life? How do we go about instituting a better diet in our own world?
Yeah, so it's actually not that difficult. You're quite right. So if you look at what do you sort of think is a healthy plate.
Yeah.
It's basically, if you base it on a Mediterranean diet, and I'm not saying that couldn't be culture-specific in South Africa, because the Mediterranean diet basically is plant-based. It's just fresh foods like your salads. Fruit would be another example. And you basically need a small portion of protein.
Just feed them.
And fiber, which is very important. That is not an expensive meal to have, you know? And also, I think if you just a little bit more sort of consciously mind, yeah. Because I think, you know, people use the expense as an excuse oftentimes. Because if you look at your grocery bill at the end of the month and you proportion what you're spending on for healthy foods, which is not tasty, they're pretty decent food if it's healthy.
Depends how you cook it,
Yeah. And, you know, if you balance that out with luxuries like unnecessary empty calories, like chocolates and chips and alcohol and
the complex carbs
and so on.
and
Absolutely. And you just reproportion, it's not that difficult.
Here's the wake-up call. Gary Player, love him or hate him, in terms of the personality he occupies, he is one of the greatest achieving sportsmen of our era. 1 meal a day, only fruit. And I'm just saying, just putting it out there.
Yeah.
I think far too often we complicate things or we live in denial and we just say we're a manifestation of our situation and that's how we have to eat. Not so.
Yeah.
I think I've got to say thank you so much for being this consciousness within the nutritional space. We absolutely love you, Prof, and kudos to Farmer Brown. It's time to win big as well with Farmer Brown's Nourish range. You stand the chance of winning 3,000 Rand in cash. Invest that in a healthy diet. Simply reply to competition questions that's up on that's the Expresso social media pages, and tell us this: when buying groceries, do you look for the Heart and Stroke Foundation seal of endorsement, and why do you do it? Don't forget to use that hashtag Farmer Brown, and the competition closes Monday the 24th of April at midnight. We're going to get a lot of entrants for this one, so get on it, but you can find the T's and C's at expressoshow.com. Professor, we love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Enjoy.
Farmer Brown's Nourish Crumb Chicken Breast, proudly made with the healthiest ingredients to fuel your body with wholesome goodness. They taste so good because they eat so good.